In this video, I'm going to show you how to set up a take profit and a stop loss for a position that is open on the WEEX futures market. Let's get into the video. Alright, here's how you can set a take profit and a stop loss for a position that you already have open on the futures market. I opened a small Bitcoin long position betting on the price to go up for the purpose of demonstrating this. So you can see my long position on the chart right here represented by this green line, and let's imagine that I'm targeting the top side of this pivot right here as my take profit on this trade. What I'm going to do is come over here to the drawing tools. I'm going to grab a horizontal line. If you don't see yours, just click on this little triangle here. You'll get a drop down menu and you'll find a horizontal line right here. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to come over here to the chart. I'm going to front run the top side of these candlesticks by maybe coming down to this wick right here, and I'll put the horizontal on the chart just like so. Now, when we look on the y-axis of the chart, we can see a price point that's correlated to that horizontal coming at 66,965. And we'll use that price point as the take profit target for this long position. Now, let's imagine I want to set a stop loss maybe somewhere just below this red wick right here that's kind of hiding behind that green B there. What I'll do is I'll grab a horizontal line here from the drawing tools again, and I'll mark a spot on the chart just below that red wick, something like this. Good enough for this demonstration. Now, when we look on the y-axis of the chart, we can see a price point correlated to that horizontal coming in at 64,119 in blue there. So let's come back here to the chart. I'm going to use the wheel of my mouse just to zoom it out a little bit. That way we can see both price points on the y-axis there. Now what we'll do is we'll come down here to our position that we wish to set our take profit and stop loss for. Again, I just have this tiny Bitcoin position that I opened for the purpose of demonstrating this. We're going to come right over here where it says position TPSL, and we're going to click on this tiny little icon right here. You're going to get this pop-up window right here. We'll make sure it's set to entire position. And now we can put in our take profit target in this box here and our stop loss into this box here. So of course, on the y-axis of the chart, I can see both my take profit and my intended stop loss. So let's go ahead and type those in. So my take profit is up here at 66,965. So we'll come down here to the trigger price under TP and we'll type that in, 66,965. Now, WEEX is estimating approximately how much profit I'm going to make if this take profit target gets hit and what my potential ROI is right here. Now let's do the stop loss. Of course, we can look at the y-axis of the chart. In blue here, I can see 64,119. So we'll type that into trigger price. We'll go 64,119. Now I can see what my estimated loss is going to be right here if my stop loss gets hit, and my loss in ROI right here as well. Looks good, so I'm going to click here on OK. And just like that, I set my take profit and stop loss for this long position. So if we come back here to the chart, click on these horizontals like this, we'll delete that one. Let's delete this one. And now we can see my take profit in this box right here, also represented by this green dotted line. And we can see the stop loss in this red box right here, also represented by this red dotted line. So very simply, if Bitcoin pops up, hitting this green dotted line, that is going to trigger WEEX to instantly close my position in a small profit. But if this trade goes against me, price action falls to the downside, hitting this red line here at 64,119, that's going to trigger WEEX to close my position in a small loss immediately at the best available price off the order book. Now you can easily amend these if you just grab onto them. So if we come over here to the take profit, hover the mouse over top, hold down left click, now you can see I can actually move this. So let's imagine I want to drag it down to the top side of this red wick right here, something like this. Let go of left click, you'll get this pop-up window here, and I'm just going to go ahead and click on OK. Now as you can see, I just moved that take profit down to that red wick right there. Now let's imagine we want to move the stop loss. We'll hold down left click. Again, I can move it around just like this. Let's just drag it down a little bit here. Let go of left click. We're getting this pop-up window again here, giving us the amended loss that we'll be taking right here and the amended loss in ROI right here. Looks fine, so I'll just click here on OK. And as you can see, I just amended that stop loss immediately. As simple as that. If you want to see your order details, you can come down here, click where it says open orders, click here where it says trigger order, and here's where you'll see your take profit and stop loss for your position. If at any point you want to cancel these, you can do that over here under action by simply clicking on cancel next to the one you wish to cancel. So if I want to get rid of the stop loss, I'll click here on cancel next to stop loss, and it's gone. Alternatively, you can do this on the chart itself. So if we come up here to the chart, you can see my take profit is still right here. If I hover my mouse over top of that X, you can see I can cancel the order. So I'll left click on that. And as you can see, I just got rid of that take profit target. As simple as that. Now, before I let you go, I'll quickly show you how you can set your take profit and stop loss before you even open your position. So I'm just going to quickly close my position out here, like so. And let's go ahead and open a new long position, betting on the price to go up. But this time, I'm going to set the take profit and stop loss before we even open the trade. So again, for the sake of demonstration, let's imagine I'm targeting the top side of these candle bodies right here. I'm going to grab a horizontal. Let's mark those guys out, something like this. And for a stop loss, let's do something similar, maybe just below this red wick right here. Again, I'll grab a horizontal and let's mark a spot just below that red wick. Of course, choose price points that make the most sense to you. I'm just demonstrating how this tool works here. So now that I've got those areas marked, I can see price points correlating to those horizontals on the y-axis of the chart, and that'll come in handy in a minute here. So now I'm going to come up here to the order panel, and I'll just use a market order here, and I'll do a position size of, say, 125 tether. Now, before I open this long position, betting on the price to go up, I'm going to check this little box right here next to where it says long TPSL. If you're executing a short position, you'd be checking this box right here. So I'm going to click here. Now I can put my take profit in this box here and my stop loss in this one down below. Of course, I can see the price point I wish to set my take profit at on the y-axis of the chart there in blue, coming at 67,213. So I'll type that in. And I can see the price point for my stop loss at 64,000 there. So let's do 64,062 like this. And now I'm ready to open this long position. So I'm going to click here on open long. Getting an order confirmation pop-up window here, but you'll see here that my take profit's going to be instantly added, and so will my stop loss the moment I place this trade. So let's go ahead and click here on OK. Now I've opened that long position at the best available price off the order book by using a market order, and if we come here to the chart, get rid of these horizontals like this, you can see that the take profit and stop loss was added the moment I opened that trade. So very simply, if Bitcoin marches its way to the upside, hitting my take profit up here at 67,213, this trade is going to be closed in a profit. If this trade goes against me and Bitcoin just waterfalls to the downside, hitting my stop loss at 64,062, this trade will be instantly closed in a loss, whether I'm at my computer or fast asleep in the middle of the night. Now, if you want to learn how to set up multiple take profits on your positions, be sure to visit my WEEX playlist on my YouTube channel, where I have an entire video dedicated on how to set multiple take profits for a position that you have open on the futures market. Now that you've completed this tutorial, feel free to check out my other WEEX tutorials, which I've put together in a playlist on my YouTube channel, or check out one of these tutorials that are popping up on your screen now. Have yourself a powerful day.